Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick with you this morning. Holy M&A. I don't know where this deal stands as far as the biggest M&A deals of the year, but the AbbVie Allergan deal this morning, what is it, $63 billion? That will be our driver of the news and the volume and all the activity here this morning. Talk about that, ramifications throughout the sector. We have some analyst activity to discuss as well, but that'll be the big headline of the day. Let's just jump right into it. Joel, what's the word here in the overnight session?
Nice overnight range here. S&P's rallied off that 6 p.m. and open up to 58 and a quarter. We'll be keeping an eye on that as long as the closing high, the all-time closing high at 29.60. On the downside, we got to 42 and a quarter. Really nothing relevant there. We have a weekly swing number, 36 and a quarter. Crude up 2 cents at 57.92, continuing to rally. Not holding gold back here, up 10.80 at 14.29.20, but $13 off the high at 14.42. Silver in the red by 4.7 cents at 15.33. Bitcoin, Triple D will give us his new target update when he comes on here in a few minutes, but up 490 at 11,400.
Or a few seconds.
In a few seconds, but just got to give a big shout out here to my oldest daughter, Dana. 27 years old today, June 25th, 1992. I know
26 puts are off the board.
Yep.
To it.
I'm sure she's not
I'm
listening.
along the 28 calls.
They're so much. They're bid up so high. It's unbelievable. 28, 29s, and 30. Just very, very proud of her. Also, the first day of Globex trading started 27 years ago today in 1992. So a great day all around. Like I said, I know I don't look 27, but yes, I do have a 27-year-old daughter.
So big news of the day. Oh, did you want me to do a Bitcoin?
Yes. Could you give us your target update, please?
All right. So I've made no money all the way up, but obviously I had my 4,200 target originally when the thing was at 3,500 because I had that dream. Remember?
Yes.
I jacked it up to 5,000. Then I went to 7 or 8,000, and then to 10,000. I keep jacking up my price target. I'm like that analyst that's actually on the right side of the trade. Wish I was long it. Haven't been long it, but I've been bullish for the last 3-4 months. I'm still remaining in the bull camp, guys, in the Bitcoin. Even though I'm not sure I'm a long-term believer in the story as much as everybody else, I am bullish still Bitcoin because I don't see any reason for it to come back down. So, anyways, my boy here is coming into the room here, so
it's all right. And you're really getting to be a Wall Street analyst. You keep upping your targets, or as prices go higher. So you're really getting the swing of things here. But
you want to see my kid? My kid just came in the room. Here he is.
Oh man,
there's Spencer. Say hi, Spencer. My wife's downstairs and the kid is here. That's okay. We're at our cottage, so it's a little bit tighter quarters here when I'm at my cottage. And obviously, the boy can sometimes break in, which he is doing here right now. So you're getting a live look. That's the other Spencer in my life, and he's right here right now. So
we'll get some stock tips from him a little bit.
He's got stock tips. He's got a question here right now too, though. So we're gonna have to. I'm gonna work on him. But anyways, my Bitcoin price target, I'm jacking it up to the all-time highs. What's the all-time highs? 19,000.
It did hit 20. I mean, it depends on what
I think we can make the all-time highs in Bitcoin. I'm saying it here now. So I'm sticking with my bull theme in Bitcoin. Despite not being a believer in the long-term story, I remain in the bull camp because the technicals still look pretty. That could change if we start to break down, but I'm sticking with it.
All right. Basis the front.
Spencer's got a piece of lettuce for his Beyond Meat burger.
Based on because you got the rolling front month contract here in Bitcoin. So let's see. Based on the rolling front month contract here, come on. When we did that show, in December of 2017, when we did our Bitcoin special, it went to 20,720. I remember the cash went to that day, but it all depends what exchange you're trading on. But Spencer, did you have some information on the volume in Bitcoin or the trading activity, or is that not really relevant?
It's relevant. I mean, there was a report from the CFTC that the Journal highlighted this morning, essentially showing that institutional investors are prone to short Bitcoin futures, the CME futures, while retail investors are prone to go long the Bitcoin futures. So just continuing to show that the street is betting against it as Main Street bets on it, typically.
Okay, I had to leave for 30 seconds there to take Spencer off the show, so I just missed what you just said.
No, I was just repeating my fact about the institutional investors going long, the retail investors going short Bitcoin, according to the CFTC report from over the weekend. But enough of Bitcoin. Let's get to.
What about? Could you ask Spencer about Chewy? What he thinks about Chewy? CHWY.
Wait, which Spencer? Me or the other
Well,
Spencer?
talk Beyond Meat, and obviously, I'll pat myself on the back here, because when I was in New York on Thursday, I said I'd be a seller of the rallies. It was 175. It's 139 bucks here now, so we got that one right. So we get some wrong, we get some right. We definitely got that one right. But you know what else? And we didn't say this, and I should have thought about it, is with the breakdown in Beyond Meat, the money is coming out of those new IPOs, not only Beyond Meat, but look at Zoom yesterday. Zoom got hit really hard yesterday. If you look at the other ones, like you just mentioned, Chewy, Uber had a rough day. It's funny how, Pinterest is starting to come off there too, had a rough day yesterday. It's funny how one big IPO, which was getting all the press, starts to break down, and then the money starts to fly out all the other ones too. Obviously, these companies have nothing to do with each other than they're all recent IPOs. But I'm just looking here, and I'm sure there's more examples out there. Money coming out the last couple days out of the recent IPOs.
Zoom has a big old gap to fill down here.
That's an ugly candle. I think rallies to be sold in Zoom here now too.
Wow.
What do you think on that? You get a candle like that, everybody's caught.
Yeah, everyone
just gets up 93, 94. It's a good short. I think it's a setup for a good short. Obviously, just my opinion. But I'd be a seller rallies, just like in Beyond Meat. After I got that big candle in Beyond Meat, that was my tip. Any type of rally gets sold. I think the same thing happens here in Zoom now. I mean, things can change. Obviously, you get a big rating or something, or somebody giving a vote of confidence to it. But right now, the vote of confidence is broken in a lot of these IPOs. That is an awful day. I think path of least resistance is still lower for Zebra M.
Nothing down. I mean, you got a gap fill here down to 79.75 here in Zoom, and just kind of similar to that. What got hit yesterday? Shopify, who got another downgrade today.
We got this one right too, and I messed that trade up.
Yeah, when you get aired, like you have a big green candle 4 days ago, you just zoom up through an area and then you come back down to that area. Got slapped with another downgrade today. Who downgraded that, Spencer?
Shopify?
Yeah, I got
Wedbush.
Wedbush. Yeah,
2 downgrades back to back.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. But we started out talking about this merger here, and we kind of got away from it. So you want to go back to the Allergan AbbVie side?
Yeah, credit here to the Journal. I think they had this one like 15 minutes before the PR came out that they reported AbbVie was nearing a deal to acquire Allergan. They were right. That deal broke at around 6:45 this morning. $63 billion is the total deal value. AbbVie is going to acquire Allergan for $188.24 a share in cash plus stock, and that ratio is 0.8660. So Allergan shareholders will receive 0.866 AbbVie shares and $120.30 in cash, for a total consideration of $188.24 per Allergan share.
I am one of those Allergan shareholders. Unfortunately, I also own AbbVie, so I own both these stocks in my life. You own a lot of stocks when you get a takeover, and you own both the stocks. So anyways, I own both of these. So obviously getting hit a little bit on the ABBV. I've been in that since birth, meaning I was in it since the Abbott Labs spinoff. Allergan I've been in for a long time too. I'm not going to get my money back in this one because I'm in from over $200. But regardless, I'm getting a lot of my money back here this morning. So definitely happy about the merger here. Waking up to that is always good news when you've got a stock and it's up 31%. RBC came out with a note. And they were saying that it's a surprise, but then they were also saying that they thought Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson had interest here too. I can't see why Pfizer would be interested because they already tried to buy Allergan, and that's what got rejected, way back a few years ago when Allergan was up, obviously over $300 a share, and Pfizer was going to pay that huge premium. It's been leaking ever since, been a value trap ever since. Obviously, this value trap had some value, at least in AbbVie's eyes, because they are coming in to buy the stock. So I don't know if it's going to be another deal or not, but all we can do is do the ratio that we have currently. So obviously, you're not going to see it up there at the 188 price because there's risk the deal doesn't go through. The second thing is AbbVie is trading down. There's a stock component to it. So if you take the $120 plus you go 0.866 times the current price of AbbVie, which is $72 roughly, you get $62. So if you go 62 plus 120, you're at about $182. Say $183 is where it's the current takeout price if the deal closed today. Obviously, if time value of money and the risk of the deal doesn't go through, so risk arbitrage are putting a 13-point discount on that for those reasons. I held on to the Caesar yesterday because the discount was significant there. We saw ERI keep falling, but I was looking at it and I was like, it's still trading 80 or 90 cents below the takeout price. So I actually did hold on to it. Allergan, I'm not sure if I'm going to. We'll see. It's trading, 11 or 12 points below. It gets, within the 4 or 5% range. Sometimes it's best to ring the register. I haven't decided what I'm doing with Allergan yet, but probably going to sell it.
Wasn't one of your worst trades in Allergan a couple years ago? Didn't you come in with when it was way up there and the deal got called off, you came in with an odd lot or something like that?
I had a horrible day trade in Allergan. So anyways, it was something, it was trading, I don't know, slightly down. I got caught up in the news. The news broke. Somebody obviously probably knew the news, the thing's trading down $3-4, and I picked up an odd lot. It was just a small position. It was like 50 shares. And I'm like, I see the deal, or I held it overnight, and then the deal gets called off overnight, the Pfizer and the Allergan deal, and the thing falls like $50 or something like that. I was like, or $70. I was like, you're thinking that overnight, you're hearing rumors that the deal is going to get called off or something. I don't know I can't remember the entire story, but you think, what can you lose on an odd lot? 50 shares. How much can you lose? I was like, $3,000. I'm like, this is the worst 50 shares ever. Anyways, there's nothing you can do. I mean, when you're long a stock and the deal gets called off, it gets killed the next day. So you can have all your risk management techniques you want. You're holding stocks overnight. Sometimes they're going to be for you, like 41 points here this morning. Sometimes they're going to be against you if you're on the wrong side. So that's the risk of overnight trading. This is the main reason why I say stay diversified in your trading portfolio as well, especially if you're an overnight trader, because stuff happens. Stocks can get halted. Stocks can fall 30 or 40% overnight. It does happen. So if you're margin, if you're on a stock and you're margin 2-1 and you got all your capital in it and all of a sudden it gets halted and falls 50%, you're done. You blew out your account. So I always say I never like to have more than, I would say, I say 5%, say 10% of your overall capital in any given trading position. So not only is it important to stay diversified in your investing portfolio, I believe it is important to stay diversified in your trading portfolio as well. Intraday traders have less risk, so maybe you can get a little more aggressive. But overnight traders, there's always risk when you hold stocks overnight because that is when news happens.
Do we have any sympathy plays moving with this? I mean, I see.
Well, you're seeing big pops in the indexes. So if you want to look, and look under the hood, I believe BBH, if you're looking for a biotech ETF that holds the most, and you can go and can find this information out fairly quickly. BBH owns 4.6% of Allergan, so it is going to be up significantly. It hasn't traded this morning yet, but it has bid up 90 cents. Obviously, that person that's bidding there knows it's going up more than that. They're willing to bid 8,000 shares. I mean, I even tried to bid ahead of it, and then just steps ahead too, so you can get a stepping war there because it's obviously going to open higher with this Allergan deal. XPH. So XLV, it's not one you think about, but it owns 1.14% of this. So, just off the top, you think, okay, well, that's not a huge move. But if you're trading XLV from an arbitrage perspective, you got to be aware, okay, well, if this thing's trading up, 31%, it's going to be up 0.35% just for the Allergan. But then you've got other stocks, they're going to trade up to in sympathy here this morning as well. ABBV itself, which owns very little Allergan, if any, I don't even know if it owns any, it's trading up 1.1% just because it's biotech. And XBI is trading up 0.91% as well. So big pops here for a lot of biotech indexes off this Allergan news. I'm not seeing in the and obviously there's some smaller biotechs when I look at my filter trading up here this morning, but I'm not seeing huge everybody piling into biotech this morning, despite the IBB being higher.
What about these perennial dogs like Mylan Lab?
Mylan's trending up 3%.
Yep. Or Teva, because this, I mean, I know
Was
that
there news on Teva? Anything?
up 17 cents, 500,000 traded.
It was up higher this morning, though. I was just wondering if this was just maybe. I guess it's just sympathy.
Yeah.
Teva's up.
Mylan's up. Mylan's up more. Mylan's up 2%.
Yeah. There's some good moves here.
I would also add, provided there's the liquidity, LABU, which is a leveraged biotech ETF, is also up 3.5% this morning. I imagine that'll be active at the open.
That's 3 times XBI, basically.
Correct.
I trade that ARB. I do that often, in pre-market after hours. I do that ARB against each other, and it's just 3 times. So when XBI is up 1%, that's typically up 3%.
Just quick update. We talked about Biogen yesterday, and it was getting a boost for some reason. I can't remember what the news was, or someone maybe asked about it on a breakout, but still finding a wall here at that 240 area, 241.31. I know the other high, actually the high since the bad news was 244, but $200 stock, you got to keep round numbers. So 240 looks like still a big area in Biogen, and volume kind of tapered off on Monday after the quad wage expiration.
So if you want to go away from biotech stocks for a minute here, actually, just before we do that, I want to talk that Crystal Biotech, because here's another stock that's up again. It's been as rough as May was in my long-term portfolio. June has been really good, obviously because the market is higher, and obviously when you own 100 stocks, you kind of just move around with the overall market. But individually, especially this week, I had Caesars. I was long that, got taken over here yesterday. And then I had Crystal Biotech, and I only got a small piece left. This was a stock that somebody talked about on our show, like 10 or 11 bucks. And a bunch of us came in after it because he was really bullish. And I was like, I don't know anything about this company. So I bought some stock at, I think, like 10.50. I know Spinner bought some stock then. There's a few other people in our chat that bought some stock then. And I stuck it in the long-term portfolio. I didn't look at it. It doubled, went to 20. I sold a little bit. I think I took my initial capital out, like sold half. And then it went up to like 30, and I sold another piece. And now it's 43. And now I've got just a small piece left. Wish I still had it all. Great call by whoever that was on our show about a year ago when the stock was trading around $10. And maybe somebody in the chat can help us out with it. But big pop here for Crystal Biotech yesterday on great news on one of their trials. They did an offering overnight. Priced it very high at 40. Obviously, it's getting some love here. So it's trading up again despite doing an offering, $43. I'm going to hold on to my last piece of this because, like you said, Joel, sometimes when you got a good sized position, you scale out of it. It seems like that last piece you make the most money on. So I'm sticking with that last little piece.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, at the trading summit, you don't think about it. It's just kind of out of your mind. And they did the offering at $40. Is that what it is? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, they did the offering of $40. And typically, so here's the deal when you're trading offerings, and they're out of the blue and the stock's drifting down, they typically go to the offering price. You often see when a small stock has a good trial, they need to do an offering right away to finance the next round of trials. So it's not surprising to the market at all. I think the market is actually probably a little bit surprised that the offering price wasn't lower. So it did trade down last night when they announced the offering, but then the pricing came out of 40 and the stock started ripping. So, 42.20 here this morning. We did have some analyst action here this morning, but I don't think it's going to trade down to that $40 offering price.
And what is the drug, or what is it? What does it cure?
It's a drug that treats skin conditions. The name of the drug, I'm just going to tell you, it's KB103. That's the name of the drug that in the trial, KB103. It is a skin condition medicine.
And it was Chardon, the analyst, who raised their price target here, I believe. I believe there was also Guggenheim chimed in on this. Didn't they, Spencer, this morning? I thought I saw Guggenheim raise their price.
I saw Chardon. I did not see Guggenheim.
I think Guggenheim raised the price target too. So Chardon raised it yesterday. Guggenheim, I believe, raised it today. So anyways, the stock's up. It's very thin. This is trade a little bit. It normally is a little bit trade like a point by appointment only. But obviously it's getting a lot of action here now since yesterday. But if you take out yesterday's high, 43.50, on an offering, there's nothing in there. So I love being long stocks that are making new all-time highs. Like I said, I'm sticking with this one. I've been in since 10.50, or like I said, I've been in. I sold some of this, so it's not like I'm holding the whole thing. But I got a little piece left, so I'm sticking with it.
All right, we did get a pop. Currently trading at $43, up $1.80. They initially took it to $43.50. Actually, that's from the session from yesterday. So,
That's what it
looking,
kissed in the pre-market too. So that's big.
yeah,
That's big for it. Take
there
out
you go.
43.50. There's no reason this thing couldn't see $50. I mean, I think as
Well,
a day trade, I think it sets up not bad with the 40 offering on the floor. Thing pulls back a little bit. I think 40 could give it some support here now.
give
So
it your price target from the
I,
pre-market show.
I think eventually this could be $100 stock. I think I've even said that before. That's why I wish I would have held it all. It was a huge winner. But and obviously these trials, if the trials fail in the next round, I'm thinking this is speculative capital only. If eventually these trials start not working out, the thing could be right back down to $10. So these things are only speculative capital. It's a very small company. I think the market cap is still around 300 million or something. It's very small. So, but when these trials work out, and it sounds like the data was pretty good for the trial, these things can really move, and we saw that yesterday. And I think you could get some follow through here.
All right, not much going on in earnings land. Do we get the Lennar report yet?
We did. Yep, that was a couple hours ago. Lennar reporting a Q2 EPS of $1.30 versus $1.14 estimate sales 5.6 versus $5.1 billion. So beat and a beat for Lennar.
Home builders all trading higher on this. DHI is up $1 here right now in sympathy. It's always interesting when you get the leader and the DHI up 2/3 of the leader. KB Homes bid up. I mean, you're going to have a big pop here in your home builders this morning. If you want to look at Lennar specifically here, LEN, I don't know. You get up to your 54. That's where it's kind of struggled. Can it get through there? That's a big question.
Couple quick pops up over 54.50. Two quick pops up to 54.74 and 54.70. Quickly pulled back from those areas. Just overall, historically, these home builders had some nice pops on the reports and then pulled back. But another reason I'm going to add significance to this 54.50 area was its May 16th high as well. So you've knocked on the door a couple times there. It is a previous daily high, and you have backed off $1.10 from that level. If you are looking for a gap fill on the downside, you got a long ways to go. 52.13 was the high from yesterday's session.
So, like I said, all the home builders trading higher, so that's going to be a source of strength here this morning, along obviously with some biotech stocks that are trading higher here too. Let's go back over to the ratings parade here. There's a few this morning. Like we said, we just briefly said Shopify catching another downgrade this morning, back-to-back downgrades, Wedbush this time. We said yesterday that this had room to 300. I messed up this trade, and I don't even know how I messed this up yesterday because we're on the show. And we said it yesterday during the show. And I don't, usually wait till I'm done the show to, really start, initiating new trades. I might trade out of positions while I'm on the show, but for the most part, I usually don't initiate positions till I'm done the show. But we said yesterday, I said, this thing can start taking out the low, the 3 of the previous day, which was 324.10, which it was. We were saying, I think it could fall $10. And Joel said, I think it could fall down to 300. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I shorted a pre-market at 322. And then, and this is about maybe at 9 o'clock, just after the show got done. And then it starts popping and popping and popping. It's trading up to, I think, 325. And I was like, and then I'm looking at Spotify trade up. And now it's in my head. I'm like, oh, is this going to be one of those days they get the downgrade that they actually come in and buy the downgrade? So anyways, I'm looking at it. It ends up opening in the 322 handle. So I basically scratched the trade because I opened. As soon as it opened 9:30, boom, they pull the rug out from under and the thing falls like over $10. And now it's down another 5 on the thing. So I'm like, how did I mess this trade up? Anyways, I somehow didn't make money being bearish the stock. And, sometimes it just happens. You get the little psychological game. Even after 20 years, you can second guess yourself. And sometimes it's your initial instincts you got to listen to, and don't listen to those second guesses. And I listened to the second guesses yesterday, and I ended up, losing just a little bit of money on a trade I should have made money on.
And boy, if you're looking at this and you were looking for a gap fill from Friday's price action, 324.10 was your low on Friday. You got the tweet 324.48. And then you know what happened here. Wedbush kind of rating on the Bulls parade today, trading down 533 at 306.50.
You think we see that 300?
Oh, man. today.
Good support there. If I was short, I'd be breaking in and around that.
No, I gave 305 yesterday, Dennis, because I told you there was one. Boy, you got one,
God, I
two,
messed
three,
this
four,
trade up.
5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lows between 301.94 and 305.64. So, I mean, if 305, 304, 303, you just got to have, if you want to cover those kind of bids out there, because you get the whoosh down to like 199 and you're thinking, you're home here. And then the next thing is at 210. So I'm just going to stick with that 305 area just because you had so many lows in that area just a little over a week ago.
Also, ratings here, Land. What else did you see, Spencer? Just quickly.
Big one this morning.
Yeah.
Pixis PYX getting initiated coverage at Imperial Capital with an outperform and a $71 price target.
That's crazy price target. You know what? I sold this out of my portfolio like a couple days ago. This is Sean Udall pick. I've been waiting. I was in from like 17. It went up to 19 a couple times there. But then it started breaking down. And when it started breaking down, I was like, okay, I got to get out because it's breaking down. And I had it on. But, I didn't know much about the company. I don't like to be stocks that are breaking down. You can see when it started breaking down around 16. I actually gave it a day. I thought it might bounce back. And the next day, I ended up trading down to 14, 16. I was like, oh, well, that's it. So I got to cut it. So I cut it in. I don't know where I cut it, but right in there. And now it's popped back up. And obviously I cut it good because it continued to go down, went down to 13.43. But now you get this huge price target left. 15.75 is where it's just it's offered his 15.30. I don't know what to say. I'm out of it. Obviously, I kind of wish I was back in, or I wish this analyst would have did this 2 days ago or 3 days ago before I cut the loss. But it's popping. It's up 14%. A lot of people stuck in this thing, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Trend is down. Sorry, Sean Udall. I know this was one of your picks, but the trend here is not your friend. This is a counter trend move. It could get some life here for a day or two. Maybe it gets back up that 17, 18 area, but then you have all those people who were buying it like I did, trying to get their money back. So I don't know. I usually never make money buying stocks that are rallying, like buying stocks that are in clear downtrends. And buying the spikes. So I usually make more money selling the spikes. So
prove to me you can close over $16. Your 3 and 4 day high. Yeah. 1578, 1585. You got up near that area in the pre-market trading. Your pre-market high is 1599. So 70 cents away from $16. I would say, get not only one close, but a couple closes above that level. And just real quickly, going back to this Shopify, remember you got the downgrade, and it's a little different stock, but you got the downgrade from JP Morgan on Beyond Meat, and they crushed it. And then the next day, who was the Johnny Come Lately analyst that came out and downgraded as well? Bernstein. And they got stuffed on that. So, first one, they hit it pretty good. The second one, just watch. So I think this is a real big day here for Shopify, and I'm just sticking with that 305 area as support. So see how it reacts to bad news.
What else, analyst land?
What else?
Grubhub. Grubhub has got the big one this morning. Yep, they're catching an upgrade this morning from Citigroup. Also announced a $91 price target. Upgrade to buy, $91 price target.
We know we got a little buzz in the background, too, when Spencer talks a bit. What happened was, the background of this is he left a piece of the soundboard. So we're not running a soundboard right now.
Oh, tire tracks on Spencer's back.
So that's why the quality's a little bit,
It's my fault. I apologize. There is a piece.
He's got a solution on the way. They were sending the part.
It's in the mail.
From New York City, they were sending the part. So we will eventually have our soundboard back, and there will be clear once again. So apologize for any audio difficulties. We brought a lot of things to NYC, and we only forgot a cord, so we did okay.
And maybe my iPhone chargers with that too, Spencer.
Can you send Joel's iPhone charger as well? It'll only cost $20 to ship the $10 iPhone charger.
When we got back from us celebrating on Thursday night, I'm like, "Where's my iPhone charger?" And so then good old Dwayne Reed was open that late at night. Oh, Dennis was like, "Oh, you can use my charger," and I'm like, "Nah, man, I need my phone tomorrow. I got some meetings." So then I wake up in the morning, and Dennis is like, "Oh, I forgot to charge my phone." So I didn't have to go out at midnight to get a new charger, but that's just a few stories here. 8:31, we missed imbalances. As of late, Dennis, you said they're real. The boys haven't been showing their hands here.
They're not showing anything. Maybe it's because we talk about their imbalances. They don't like us talking about their opening imbalances. Anyway, 73,000 to sell G. That guy don't mind. He's there every day. Pfizer 58,000 to sell. Remember Pfizer? Okay, so that RBC note, remember that? Just caution a little bit there. I own Pfizer, long-term portfolio, sticking with in the long term. But short-term, there was an RBC comment that, hey, maybe Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson was sniffing around for Allergan too. Well, you can see when AbbVie won the battle here, it's significantly down. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there could be a few nervous Nellies saying, well, I don't want this to happen to my stock. And what if they decide to come trump the bids? So I think you could see a slight little bit of pressure on Pfizer and J&J just for that reason. I'm not sure that's going to happen or not. I don't know if I'm going to trade them off of that, but just thinking live here on the show. I don't see a lot of imbalances, though. I don't see a lot of movement here from, I don't know if anybody else sees any that are jumping on me. Procter & Gamble, 31,000 to sell. They're all small.
And just real quick, we haven't talked GE. We were talking about all that institutional size at 1050, and it snuck over there, but put another double top in. Yep, and coming right back down here. Yvonne,
when you're playing breakouts, the stock needs to stay broken out. So as soon as you're buying the 1050 breakout, when it comes back down below 1050, you're like, okay, well, that's not working. So, I mean, there's no reason to own this until it's above 1050 and holding above 1050. So it's back below 1050 now. I don't see any reason why I'd want to own this.
For
you, the line in the sand.
Yeah, for Yvonne here, she's asking about Bank of America here, and I just tell you, we just haven't been talking about these banks at all. I mean, these rate cuts. I mean, where's the driver for these banks here?
I don't see where it's coming from.
Yeah, but
you got interest rates coming down. That's not good news. You've had the best bull market ever. They haven't been participating for the most part. That's not good news. I look at the Deutsche Bank chart and I kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit because it's $7. I don't know if there's contagion there, but Deutsche Bank still has serious problems. We're not out of the woods there. And then you got the other believers of Bitcoin, which has really been popping up, saying they're going to replace a lot of the banking system. So that's, obviously, I'd hocus pocus, in my opinion. I don't think that's happening, but there's a lot of reasons not to own the banks. I own very few banks. So I have 100 stocks, maybe more than 100 stocks in my long-term portfolio. I own a few Canadian banks because in Canada, there's not much else to own, but I have US banks. I own almost zero. My banking exposure in the US has got to be less than 1%. And it's been a good position to be in because the banks have not performed well for a long period of time. I mean, really, even in the financial crisis, yes, they came back. But I mean, you still think about it, how hard, you can say, oh, Citigroup, $67. Yeah, after a, 10-for-1 reverse split. So what is it, $6? And it used to be 80. I mean, they really got hit hard. I got the bad taste in my mouth after the financial crisis. And I was like, you can see, and obviously we band-aided the problem by printing more money. But I don't know if we ever solved any problems in the long term with the banking system. Dodd-Frank is supposed to, obviously make them have less risk out there, but I'm not sure they still have I'm just not a fan after the financial crisis. I never wanted to own a lot of banks.
Okay, Yvonne bought some puts yesterday and she made some dollars on them. And Yvonne, I'm just looking at this chart here, and boy, this 2780 level, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 out of 7, let's call it 8 out of 10 lows right at that 2780 area. So you got to get rid of that pesky buyer there, and with multiple lows in the same area. And I think you're going to get some more appreciation on those puts. But support is support until it's taken. And just talking about banks and Bitcoin and cash and everything, I went to buy a bottle of water at LaGuardia. It was like $5. So I had a $5 bill in my pocket. So I handed it to the lady, and she looked at me, like I was crazy or something, or I needed some change, or maybe it was $4 and I needed $1 back. And she looked at me like, don't you have a credit card?
This is a cashless society.
and I said,
don't you have Bitcoins in your pocket?
That's what I said to her. I said, yeah, I got credit cards. I said, I also got Bitcoin. You want Bitcoin? And she gave me a dirty look and gave me my
Speaking of a cashless society, when I was in New York on Friday, I was trying to buy myself a Gatorade and I didn't have any cash. And so I went to an ATM, a random ATM, a random bank. I think it was TD because I get my ATM fees refunded. It has been so long since I got cash from the ATM. I forgot my PIN. Okay, that's how long it's been since I tried to get cash. I forgot my PIN number. I couldn't get cash.
I mean, it's plastic world. I buy everything with MasterCard because I get the points too. So I pretty much 90% of my purchases are always on MasterCard. I think I'm on like I don't know, the 1% cash back or something. I don't know. Anyways, whatever it is. But I'm like, you're always getting 1% off. And plus, it's an easier way to track your overall expenditures. I like looking at my one MasterCard statement and it can kind of track it all. And so, anyways, I've always just been a fan of using plastic too. I use very low cash.
All right, 8:37. No guest today. We got some more content to cover. So Lamar Bryant joining the chat here. If you guys got some symbols, we should.
We do ticker time.
I wanted to before we do that. I wanted to do Tesla real fast. There was a Tesla headline. They got an exemption regarding the aluminum tariffs from Japan. So bullish headline from Tesla that broke yesterday around the close, maybe a little bit before the close. But the U.S. Commerce Department is waiving the 10% tariffs on imported aluminum from Japan for use in the manufacturing of battery cells for Tesla.
Man, I don't know what to say here. This chart, it's obviously had a significant rally off the 180. There was people on our show saying this is a zero. I've always been torn on this one. It's like I've said before. When I don't own it, I want to own it. When I do own it, I don't want to own it. So I don't own any position on this right now. But this chart doesn't look that bad to me. It looks like you had a clear downtrend, but it's trying to hold up and trying to break that trend. You know what? If you're looking at it, I could get an argument for the bull case here, like short-term bull case. What are you thinking? What do you think of this chart?
I'm thinking that you should listen to Jeremy Newsom. He went on Real Vision when we were out in New York, and he came out with his bullish thesis, and he was viciously attacked by people on the comments.
Oh, people hate.
I told him, you know what? I said, don't respond to the comments. And, he laid out his scenario. But the thing
because you know what's interesting about this is Jeremy's a trader. And when it broke down to 220, Jeremy gave a 180 price target. He was spot on. And then he turned around and got bullish. I mean, this guy's just hot right now. Now it's 223, and so it's come back up here, and he's on the bull train here all of a sudden. So just remember, traders, you're traders. You are allowed to change your opinion. Sometimes we change our opinion twice on the show, but that's a joke kind of. But I mean, we are allowed to change our opinions on stocks. And I've always been torn on this stock. And it's probably one I've traded very poorly. But Jeremy Newsom's traded very well, and so if he's bullish it, I kind of can see what he's talking about. I'm going to stay a little more in the bull camp than the bear camp on Tesla, but I don't know if I'm going to be trading it.
Well, what I think that people overlooked, and what I said to him is that he gave a scenario where he was wrong, where he was willing to admit that he was wrong in what his strategy and his forecast was. So you can have any kind of trading plan, any kind of idea, as long as you have a potential exit, a potential target. It's okay to adjust it. But he was, and he said that. So I just thought, interesting chart here. You kind of got a gimpy head and shoulders here. The left shoulder a lot different than the right shoulder. So I don't think you can classify it as that. I think the bears start to squirm above 230 here, or at 235. 234.74 was your high the other day. You had another highs right there, 234.50, 232.47. So right now, I'd say over 235. You got a clean breakout here to the upside. At this point, with that solid bottom that it had, I would love to see a pullback here, maybe a little 50%er. Let's just call it 180 to 235, 20, 35, 17 and a half. Maybe get this back in the 207, 210 area for a little lower risk play. But on the other hand, too, you had the rally up and you're just kind of bunching up. So it's important to keep the momentum going, because overall you definitely have a downtrend in this one. And let's see here. Someone asked about Allergan. Allergan's getting taken over, folks. So you got to keep an eye on AbbVie. few other stocks here: Walmart, WNT, and then FireEye. So let's do Walmart here.
Wow, I looked at this yesterday just to, and I trade Walmart a lot, but I was just like looking at it, my jaw. When did it become $111 stock? I mean, this has been one of those incredible stories that not that many people are talking about. I mean, this is all-time highs. The stock was, every pullback has been a buy, but I mean, this is, if we go back, and this is an argument for contrarian investing. Remember back in 2015 when we were doing the show, or was it 2016? Anyways, yeah, it was 2015 because I was like, this thing went from $90 to $60, and they're like, Amazon's eating the lunch. They got all kinds of problems. The stores are dumb. The media was just hating on Walmart. And that was the best buying opportunity. And since then, it's been straight up. Big stock has basically doubled since those lows when it got down to $56 back in November of 2015. And it's an argument when you buy good, solid companies, even though there may be short-term struggles, you make money, and that's the case with Walmart here as the stock makes new all-time highs. Now, if you're coming in here now, I mean, it's been a pretty good 3 years for Walmart here, basically doubling since those.
Wow.
I think you're kind of late to the party, but incredible movement here in the last few years of Walmart.
And you backed the buck off the high here, so just keep an eye on 112.19, 112.22. So someone just wiggling out here out of stock above 112. That's why you have the highs just above it. Then they come in and say, sell me, 7,800,000 shares, and it knocks it down. All-time closing high, 111.24. You are just unchanged on that. Right now, support is support. Keep moving your stop up. You had about a buck difference between the lows on Thursday and Friday, and then the same as yesterday. So the highest low ever is 111.03, kind of hanging there. All-time closing high right there at a 111.24. The other stock here, what someone wanted to look at, Roku. Let's look at Roku. That's been on a tear. Haven't looked at it in a few.
We were talking about it. And now it looks more like it wants to cool. I think I said a couple days ago, I was like, this is starting to look like it's, I didn't like that candle. I don't like the candle anymore. So it's starting to build a little more on my thesis that, hey, maybe the short-term top in Roku is in. The stock has been on an incredible run. It basically has tripled this year. And if we're going from the lows where we started the year to 30 to 100, it has. It's more than tripled. I mean, again, very late to the party if you're coming in Roku now. This is a stock that can fall 10 points in one day. I don't know if that's
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking it could go to 90.
Here. This could be 99, and then this could be 90. So, I don't know if I'm going to be trading it or not, but I definitely would not want to be long here.
Yeah, also there's a gap in there that Stock Hands is mentioning. Let's go to Five Below instead of FireEye. Oh, not a good-looking candle yesterday, folks. Yeah, big old red candle. So usually when stocks have a little consolidation and they have a red candle, a big red candle like that. Was there any news on this thing yesterday, or did just someone decide to just dump a bunch of stock down over $6 yesterday?
Somebody came out with a $4 dollar store.
Yeah, $4. I mean, the next daily support level, wait, I look at the charts, it's not down to 120.11. So perhaps you could find some support in that area. Kind of bloom is what's the term? Bloom is off the flower, whatever, after this thing got up over 145. So keep an eye here. Not much between 124 and 120. Also, we are asking about McDonald's, MCD. Is that still ripping too?
It's up this morning. Are there a headline McDonald's? I feel like there was an analyst commentary. Wasn't there an analyst commenting on food stocks?
Credit Suisse initiated this morning
with a bunch of food stocks.
With an outperform, they gave McDonald's a $230 price target.
Okay, that's why it's trading up here this morning. That could kickstart it. It needs to get. Let's go to the book. It's got to be something to book.
Somebody at 206, man. Someone watch out at 206.
Me and Joel both thinking the same thing. It's like, is there some size up here or what? Let's go take a look. A little bit. 206, 18,000, 206, 50, 10,000, 206, 25. So here's, obviously, it's obviously the same institution because you got in the book 206, 18,000. Then you have 206 and a quarter, 9,300. Then you have 206, 50, 10,000. Then you have 206, 75, 9,100. So it looks like this institution put 9,000 shares. You can totally see it. This is funny. 207 has 20,000, so there's the 9,000 there with somebody else. Then at 207 a quarter, you have 9,000. 207.50, you have 10,000. 207.75, you have 9,000. 208 and a quarter, you have 9,000. 208.50, you have 9,000. 208.75, you have 9,000. 209, you have 9,000. 209 and a quarter, you have 9,200. 209.50, you have 9,200. 209.75, you have 9,100. 210 and a quarter, you have 9,100. So they've went 9,000 shares all the way up. This is how institutions scale out. 9,000 shares. It's forever. It's going all the way up to 215. They have 9,000 shares every 25 cents for basically 10 points. I don't think I've ever seen it that smooth before. Anyways, you can tell that's the same person.
Let's see here. Micron reports have.
I'm sure they love me pointing that out too.
Yeah.
Public information.
People pay for.
$60 a month. I can see those orders.
But you do the incredible math with it. $32. Oh boy, better. I just have to say after the report here, better hold 32, 32.14, 32.18. I see that as major support. So Micron really needs to come out with a good report here. I don't know if those guys have come back down off their $100 price targets or not, $100 price targets or not, but I don't know. Hold 32 for that one.
FedEx also due after the bell.
Yeah, FedEx, I still have it long in my long-term portfolio. This has not been a good stock. So FedEx has not been a good stock whatsoever for me. I bought this thing. Well, my purchase.
You bought it good.
I bought it good. I bought it like 157. It ran to $200. I did not sell it because I was sticking in the long-term portfolio. And then I watched the whole gainy road. Went back down to 150. Now it's at 160. I'm up like 3 points in it after watching a 40-point gain go away. So I guess sometimes you got to book those profits while you got them. Did not do that. And, but I had it earmarked. I stuck it in the retirement account. So it's hard to just go in there and, and start trading your retirement account. Wish I would have sold it though.
Quick question on NIO here. That got top ticked on the 60 minutes report here and basically been straight down here. So couple lows just above $2. Yeah, $2.35. That's your major support. Two lows, bunch of lows here. Looks like someone's trying to bring in a short between 235 and 250. Quite a few lows in that area, but maybe wait to buy it at 310 instead of trying to pick a bottom here.
People come on our show and they say Tesla's a zero. This looks a lot more like a zero than Tesla to me, in my opinion. So I don't know if it's going to zero, but this is like from 10 to 260. I've lost a lot of money trying to buy stocks that have went down 80% in 3 months, thinking, okay, this is going to be the bottom because they often continue to fall. That trend is absolutely not your friend. I don't see any reason to be long this, in my opinion.
Also, let's see here. Adobe, ADBE, and
wow. That feels like, does that not feel like a blow off top a bit too? I know we we had the little red candle and it held up yesterday, which was good, but holy cow, those are big moves on stocks that have crazy. But what's the valuation of this thing? What's this thing trading at?
Let's see here.
I mean, the cloud stocks have all, especially the newer ones, have been trading crazy multiples, and Adobe's been the beneficiary of that.
Forward P for Adobe 38.
It's not bad. It's not that bad, I guess, but I don't know. That felt like, you get that 280 to 300 in 2 days. That was a big move. It starts breaking down below yesterday's low. Look up below.
Yeah, exactly. Here, down 64 cents in the pre-market. Yesterday's low 98.69, and then really can't find anything on the dailies until 293 and a quarter. Spice is asking about OLLI, Ollie's basement. Bad day yesterday.
Ollie's basement.
Wait, what's it called?
That's the same thing. It's fine.
I know it's like a Freudian.
Why did I say that? Is that
it's a basement bargain
shop?
Yeah, basement shopper. I don't know.
It's like a fine.
I did not mean that, folks. I did not.
I had to laugh about
that. I do too. I rarely laugh at my own jokes.
I laugh at my own jokes. Yeah, that's an ugly candle too. Ugly candle breaking down. Rallies to be sold in ollies. You know what? Some ugly charts here this morning.
Yeah, and let's see what happens at maybe when you get down to $86. Nothing even on the daily here. I stand corrected there. Let's call it 84.75. I see a pair of lows at 84.60ish and then 84.87. So that would be my next target on the downside for Ollie's Bargain Outlet Holdings is the exact symbol on that one.
I've got one. Bright House Financial (BHF) getting 2 downgrades this morning. Credit Suisse downgrading to underperform. Price target lowered to $22. Goldman Sachs downgraded to sell. Price target lowered to $32.
Why both to sell in one day?
I think they both cited interest rates as a.
This is a stock that just kind of doesn't move that much. That's interesting.
And what's interesting also is if you do look at a Google News search for BHF or Bright House Financial, you get a headline from Yahoo Finance June 17th. Hedge funds have never been this bullish on Bright House Financial. Well, there we go.
Okay, we had 2 downgrades to sell on the same day. That was beating the stock up to the tune of 8.5%. It's a huge move for the stock. What I will say is, you could do have some support. We're going to come into it. We're going to, just crush through that maybe. Low of the move back in March, 34.7. Is there any individual headline on this? This is just the downgrades?
I think it's just the downgrade. That's what I was looking for, like another catalyst. But
Anyway, let's see what it does at 34.70. Can it hold that little double bottom from March? Takes that out. Then it starts to get slippery slope because there ain't that much below that. I know obviously back to 2018, you got down to $28. So I don't know. Below 34.70, it's ugly, but I don't know. You're coming at it. You're down 8%. I feel like a lot of this is priced in. No.
I'll reserve comments because I thought this was an internet provider.
I know nothing. I don't think it's an internet. I don't anything about this company.
Yeah, it is. It is in our area. This is
an internet provider.
In our area, it is. Yeah, I think it's Farmington Hills where you live, Spencer.
I know nothing about this company.
So yeah, I'm going to reserve comment 34.
No, that's a different company. There's a different company.
Okay, 34.70. We're getting a little pop here in the S&Ps. Moving into the open here, right back. It's like nothing happened overnight. 58.25.
How low did we get overnight?
We got down to 42.25.
What is that in SPY language?
How
far are we off the lows? Tell me how many points we're off the lows.
The SPY's part wouldn't even open.
No. Just tell me how much we're off the lows. That's all I need to know.
The low was 92.93.
Okay, do the math for me. How much are we off the low? You got the grade 3 math skills.
70 cents? 75 cents?
No, you said we've popped from the
right.
S&P.
The low was 90. Oh.
How much right now? Are we trading 10 handles above the lows? How much are we trading currently above the
9?
9 points above the lows. Okay. Just trying to get a feel here. I don't subscribe to futures quotes again. They want to charge me $700 a month. So I use SPY.
Trying to go green here, so we'll be keeping an eye on the close here. Must be some good news somewhere. I don't know. Italy wins reprieve and EU budget fight. Must be some kind of good news somewhere because we got a pretty stealth rally here off those lows. We'll see what happens at unchanged. Did we cover all of our earnings and rating stocks here? Because I got a few other stocks from the chat to cover.
Yeah, go on. 5 minutes. Pound them out. 30 seconds each. Let's go.
EA.
Oh, you know what? This one here is starting to show some life. They're all showing some life, the e-gaming stocks. I wish I would have bought Take-Two. I wanted to buy Take-Two when it was back in 95. I talked about it multiple times, never bought it. I do own Activision, the only one that I do own. It had a good day yesterday, too. All of these things are starting to show life. I believe I believe EA, too, but I believe in esports overall. I think long-term, a lot of these stocks are going to come back.
I tell you, it bumped its head up against 100 a couple times here since May.
A 90's huge.
Look at that. That's a huge 2-day move, still trading up a dime. So, yeah, as long as it stays green here, let's see what happens over $100. $100.99 was your
30
high.
seconds.
Okay, that's over. Next stock here.
It's like when we were at the summit there and they had me on the clock. I had to do the whole presentation.
Race, RACE.
Down.
Ferrari.
What's the news?
It's down $1.05 at
Is there
all
news?
time. I am not seeing anything.
They had a buyback. That was yesterday.
Anyways, the stock's trading down $1, so harder to trade. Remember, these are trading overseas actively here, so price discovery has already happened. So don't expect that's why I like trading in efficiencies. I mean, this is already efficient. It's 20 cents wide because the high frequency market makers keeping the spread between what it's trading over in Europe and what it's trading here. So I mean, it's already priced in. It's down $1.
And
70, 80 because I was traded, so it's like
car company an all-time high. Questions about CVS here, and man, is it still holding that low? It's still, I mean, just stick with it. It's had that 51.70 low. It's tried to get off the mat a few times. It hasn't been able to. Really, I'm not looking for any major upside until it clears 55.50. You've had 4 highs there in the month of June.
What else?
Let's see. Uber.
New IPOs. They've been breaking down the last few days. Ugly chart yesterday. I think rallies to be sold in Uber.
And how about that $45 level? The initial pricing
that's where the line in the sand is. I mean, if it gets up over 46, I'd probably get bullish. So that's if I short it 43.5. Say I get that on, I'd stop out above 46.
Honeywell.
Holy cow, Honeywell. It's been a long time since we talked about that one. Trend is your friend. A little pullback here. Some of these, bigger industrials are starting to show a little bit of life here. It has had a hell of a run this year, though, too, down from 125 to 174. So, again, I mean, a lot of things have had runs. I don't know. New all-time highs, I can't argue with that just a few days ago. So, gets back up, starts making new highs. It gets interesting. Let's see what it does. Like if it's challenging that 177 area, we're going to see what it does there. But no trade here for me.
I'll just keep an eye on the all-time closing high, 174.61. Boy, one heck of a let's see, 174.61. That's your all-time closing high from yesterday. All-time high, 177.36. That's 177's been targeted a couple times here. So that's your resistance and your all-time closing high, 174.61. The tickers are flying in.
Jazz wants lift.
Okay.
Looks better than Uber, but again, the newer IPOs, I don't know if I want to own them right now. It needs to get up over 65. It gets interesting.
Yeah, boy, multiple. I'll just concur on that one. Actually, consolidation station here, 62 to 65. Let's see if we can clear 65. Let's go Krogering, and what a move that had.
I have to call on that one.
Yeah,
during 24.50 pre-market. We cite all the 25 resistance. I said if I was trading it, I'd be fading that move. The thing fell on that earnings, 24, 23. It was like 22 that day. It got down to, it's still leaking. So I don't see any reason to get on the bull train. Rallies to be sold in Kroger.
House of Mouse.
Own it long-term. Me and Spencer Israel still like it long-term, although the chart's not looking that great short-term. So, I don't love the chart for a trade, but I still love it for an investment.
Dennis, if you're still doing that, buy ahead of the big movie release thing. Their next movie, Lion King, is out in 2 weeks. So
I think remind me of that. Usually, I like to
remind you in a week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll remind you in a week.
So remind me. Put it in your calendar right now. Give us a reminder on the show that Lion King is coming out, and we'll play a trade off of Disney.
FVRR, you do have 3 lows in the same area, getting a little pop. Yeah, getting a little pop in the pre-market trading. I think from my perspective here, this 29.40, you took it out. That's a big level. Let's stay above this 29.40 area. 2 of your last 3 highs here. Next target on the upside would be 31.80.
Holding up better than the recent IPOs. Absolutely do not want to see it take out the lows. 25.55. I was long this thing. It took that out. I would not want to be long it, but it's holding up better. Showed a little bit of life yesterday, despite other IPOs going down.
All right. If you missed any part of our show, our podcast is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Google. Please remember all the information on our show is for informational purposes, not meant to be investing advice. Thanks to everyone in our chats, both on YouTube and premarket.benzinga.com. Have a good rest of your day, and we will see you on Wednesday.